Hiya, welcome to Darren in the studio. Thank you, as always, for swinging by and checking out another video. It's great that you could pop by. And before we go any further, if you like what you see in these videos, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that sort of business. Subscriber wise, we're about, I think at this recording, we're about 751. Would absolutely love to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I said that last year, and we've sort of, we kind of plateaued a little bit with the old subscriptions. So if you, like I say, if you like what you see, do us a massive favour and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. The description to this video will tell you what this is all about. In recent weeks, I've not been going down to the charity shops because it's been slim pickings and it's just like, ugh. And I really couldn't be bothered, if I'm honest. But because I've been off work, now we've got 2 weeks off work on holiday, and because we're not sort of going anywhere on holiday as such, we're just sort of enjoying the time off. I got the opportunity today to head to a shop which I sometimes go to. It's called New and Nearly New, and it's in one of the little villages near here, and it basically sells electrical, white goods, you know, TVs, furniture, beds, new and second-hand furniture, all sorts of things. And also they've got some records in there and CDs and stuff like that. And I think today I've basically dropped on. Not that long ago, if you're a regular to this channel, you will have seen a video where I picked up a load of early original pressings of Elton John's albums. These come from the very same shop, the very same store. 20 albums in here, 20 vinyl albums. I paid £40, and you don't need to be Carol Vorderman to figure out that's £2 on average per record. They're all individually priced. I've kept the price on them. And they're all priced between £1 and sort of £3.50. Okay? Some of the covers are a little bit sort of dodgy, you know, some of the seams have split and some stuff like that, but I can repair those. But in the main, all the vinyl is absolutely mint. It really is. A lot of different things in here as well. So I was absolutely chuffed to pick these up. I really was. 20 albums, 1 CD, which came from a different shop just round the corner, one of the charity shops. So let's get on with it, because there's a lot to get through. All in alphabetical order, and a couple of these albums I've already got, but I couldn't leave them in the shop. You know what it's like. You've got to take them home, you know, and give them a good home. One of them is in my 10 favourite albums of all time. And I've now, actually 2 of them are in my 10 favourite albums of all time. The 2 that I've already got. Let's kick off. A, with America. How about this? This is an album called Homecoming. This is from 1972. This is a nice original pressing on the Reprise label. Sorry, on the Warner Brothers label. This is a tri-gatefold. Beautiful artwork. See? Got to get on the camera, right? And nice on the cover, sort of opens up like that. And it looks like that. Of course, America known for Horse with No Name and all that sort of stuff. Quickly show you the vinyl. This is the standard. This is an original pressing, like I say, from 1972. This is on the Warner's label. Nice little original green label. A1, B1 press. Absolute mint condition. Of the 20 albums, I've only heard this one, which I've never heard before. Okay, so this America album, I've just had it on in the studio here, and as I was setting up the camera and all that kind of stuff, I had this on. So I can't get it back in now, how annoying. So America, 1972, Homecoming. This was £2.50 and it plays beautifully. Really chuffed with that. Next, another America album. Don't forget, these are all from the same store. When we get to the one that wasn't from the same store, I shall tell you. Another America album. This is called Holiday. Beautiful sleeve on this. This is 1974. This is also on the Warner's label. Got a nice inner on it with the lyrics, pictures of the band. Quick look at the vinyl. This is on the Burbank style Warner Brothers. Again, this is also an original press. Haven't heard this one yet. Looking forward to hearing this. I mean, to be fair, the only America I know is Horse with No Name. If I'm honest, I haven't got any of their other albums. But they are one of those bands, you know, if you see them, you know, if you see their music, you're gonna pick it up, aren't you? You know what I mean? You're not gonna leave that in the shop. Not for £2.50. Next, Bad Company. Now, another original. This is from 1979. This is the album that's called Desolation Angels. Another nice gatefold sleeve. Beautiful condition. Some of these records have got some of this sort of like mold kind of wear, if you like, what's showing through. Don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. But in the main, these were in lovely condition. Nice little inner as well. Comes with a picture inner. This is on the Swan Song label. Again, a nice original press. Got some on there which will probably come off. Yeah, just a bit of hair or something. On the Swan Song label. Bad Company. Again, the only thing I've got of Bad Company's really is a compilation of like the greatest hits. So really pleased to pick this up. Bad Company, Desolation Angels. This hasn't got a price on it. I think this was $2.50 as well. If I'm honest, I think this was $2.50. Also from the same shop. Took a bit of a gamble on this one because I'm not that familiar with this lady's music, although I have heard of her big time. Everybody knows Joan Baez, right? This is a nice little Vanguard RCA collection. It's called Hits, Greatest and Others. A lot of covers on here. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, Help Me Make It Through the Night, Eleanor Rigby, Let It Be. Maybe that's the idea of the album. Some of these records I've sort of got this sort of issue, you know, it's starting to, the glue's coming away, but that's fine. I use double-sided sticky tape to sort that out. Like I say, on the nice Vanguard RCA label. Another original press. Not sure what year this came out. This is 1973. The actual collection itself came out in 1973. As I mentioned, don't really know Joan Baez that much and took a bit of a chance on it. But for £2.50, which is what it was, you really, really can't go wrong. And like I say, it's in beautiful condition. It really is beautiful condition. Next, an album that I've already got, and I bought this album when it came out in 1985. And this is in my top 10 favourite albums of all time. And I think it's one of the greatest compilations, certainly one of the greatest hits albums of all time. This is Marc Bolan and T-Rex, The Very Best. of the 20th Century Boy. Now, you often see this in second-hand shops, and you often see it in really poor condition. It's not always in the greatest condition. But this is in absolutely lovely nick, this one. It really is. Like I say, I originally bought this when it first came out. It's nice to have a second copy, especially for £2.50. Out, of course, I think it was 1985. Yeah, out, of course, on the K-Tel label. For those of you overseas, K-Tel was a UK-based record label which sort of put out budget music, to be fair, budget collections and compilations, various artists, best ofs and stuff like that. But I think, you know, I think they did really well at it. I think they knew what their market was, and they kind of stuck to it. And I'm so pleased to get a second copy of this. My copy is probably in about the same sort of condition because it's been in a sleeve all its life. But nice to have a second copy of this. This is my favourite. God, this has got to be my favourite compilation of all time. It really is. And this was Mark's. There'd been sort of compilations before of Marc Bolan and T-Rex, but I think this was the most comprehensive. Coming out about 8 years after he died, 1985. Another album that I've already got, but only got this on vinyl. This is the CD I was talking about, the one and only CD. This is Garth Brooks, Rope in the Wind. Got this on vinyl. This is probably Garth Brooks' not most famous album, but it's got all the big records on here. What's on it? I read off the CD. Rodeo's on here. What She's Doing Now, Burning Bridges was a massive record. Papa Loves Mama, Shameless, Cold Shoulder, At the River. Just a lot of really big records on this. Nice little original on the Capitol label. And this looks like it's never ever been even touched. It's in mint condition. And the shop, this was from the charity shop just down the road. This wasn't from the same place where the records were from. And this, she said, oh, I only wanted this. And she said, oh, it's 3 CDs for £1. And I said, I'm all right. I'll pay £1 for this. It's fine. And she said, oh, well, that's 50p then. And she would not take £1. What is it with these charity shop workers? Take our money. We're grateful. So Garth Brooks, Rope in the Wind on CD. Got this on vinyl, but nice to have it on CD. Put that there. Here's an album, back to the vinyl haul. Here's an album that I've seen many, many times in charity shops, second-hand shops, never picked it up. And then I saw it, this particular one, and it's in such beautiful condition. I thought, I'll give it a try. And when I looked on the back, I thought, hang on a minute, there's a lot of songs on here I don't think I've got. And for £1.50, it's worth taking a chance on. I've got a lot of Glen Campbell stuff, but I've not got this. This is the 20 Golden Greats. This is probably the most famous of the Glen Campbell compilations. This is out on the Capitol label. This came out in, it doesn't say on the back. I'm going to guess it early 80s. What do you reckon? You know what, it doesn't say. It doesn't say when the actual collection itself came out, which is a bit of a bummer. But look, I mean, it's got a little bit of dust on it, but look at the quality. That is not a mark there. It's just a bit of dust on there. I mean, look at the quality of the vinyl. It's just stupid. It's absolutely insane. Got a really nice inner as well. A bespoke album sort of advert of his album, same on both sides. But Glen Campbell, 20 greatest hits. Like I say, seen this a million times and never picked it up. I'm really glad I did, because there's some songs on here which I am not familiar with, and I've got, like I say, I've got quite a few Glen Campbell albums and greatest hits and stuff like that. So nice to pick this up for £1.50. Next, a band that I've never heard of, and I just took a chance on it because it was £2.50. This is a band called City Boy, and this album is called Young Men Gone West. Not sure where they're from. This is out on the Phonogram label, the Vertigo label. This is a nice little original pressing from, I think it's 1979. This is there's got a little bit of a glue problem there, see? It's not a gatefold, it's just the glue's come undone. It's out on the Vertigo label, do like that label. I think it's 77, sorry, 1977. Nice little UK press, original. Apparently, I looked this up on Discogs, and they're kind of rocky, although they did sort of label them as prog rock. That's what the band looks like. Not the sexiest band in the world, but there you go. Got the lyrics and everything. I'll have to do a bit of maintenance with some of these. But looking forward to playing this. Something different. And like I say, for £2.50, you can't really go wrong. Next, a Canadian singer-songwriter that sadly passed away, I think last year, or the year before. And someone who I was familiar with, kind of, the odd song here and there, but certainly someone I've not got any of his albums. We're talking about Gordon Lightfoot. This is Gordon's album called Sundown. This is from 1974. This is out on the Reprise label. Again, this is a nice little original press. I mean, when I saw these records, I thought, this can't be real. This just cannot be real. And whoever had these before me, whether the person is alive or living, really looked after them, because they are in such great condition. Like I say, some of the sleeves are showing some wear, not damp as such, but just a bit of sort of wear. And again, you know, some of these sleeves are sort of coming apart, have come apart, and they just need a bit of double-sided tape on this bit. Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown, 1974. Also from Gordon Lightfoot. You can't believe this was all in the same place. £3.50 for this one. Summertime Dream is the album. Again, this is out on the Reprise label. This has got a nice sort of inner with the lyrics and stuff like that. And again, an original press in absolute mint. There's a light shine on it there, look. These records are in ridiculously good condition. They really are. And I hope whoever's records these were, like I say, if they're alive or past, I hope, you know, if they're looking down on me, they'll know that these are going to get looked after the same way they looked after them. Next up, a band which kind of familiar with, you know, the hits, but I don't know this record at all, and this is again in lovely condition, got a really nice texture on this. This is Manfred Mann's Earth Band. This album's called Watch. This was £2.50. Again, it's an original pressing on the Bronze label, 1978. This one got a nice little inner with I think they're lyrics, yeah, with lyrics. I love the Bronze label. Do you remember the original Bronze label? I don't know who bought all the Bronze stuff, but probably some cheap Castle Communications, I think, was it, who bought it. Like I said, this has got a beautiful sort of texture as well on the sleeve. Nice artwork. Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Watch, for £2.50. Next up, an album by a band. I've got a couple of the albums by this band. I've got a compilation and I've got one of their other albums. These are the Moody Blues. This is called Octave. I think it's called Octave. Is that how you... Yeah. This is a nice little gatefold. Justin Hayward, Ray Thomas, Graham Edge, John Lodge, and Michael Pinder. One of the Moody Blues recently passed. Moody Blues, Octave, again in beautiful condition. Got a nice inner card with the lyrics, and the record itself is on the Decca label, and it's even got the original Decca inner, polylined. I always think Decca labels look great because they're a little bit smaller, aren't they, Decca labels? You see the ridge of the record in the middle. And again, the quality is mental. Absolutely mental. £2.50, the Moody Blues Octave. What year did I say this was? I don't think I told you the year, did I? Let's see. This is from... Bear with me, folks. 1978. Available on cassette and cartridge as well. Put that away in there. Like I say, I really dropped on with this lot. Here's I think this is the cheapest of the bunch, but really looking forward to listening to this. This is on the Replay label through Sierra Records, through distributed by Warner Brothers. This is one of the Replay reissues of Willie Nelson. Don't know if this is what the album was originally called, whether it was just called Willie Nelson or not. I mean, when it comes to sort of, if you bought this in a shop brand new, this is how it would come. Absolute mint condition. On the Sierra label, I've got a couple of T-Rex ones of these. Most of these songs, in fact all of these songs, were published in 1985, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were originally issued in 75 or published in 1975, but that's when that's certainly when this album came out, 1985. There's the songs. But what do you want for £1? I like me a bit of Willie Nelson. Next, this was also £1, and I've got all the songs on this album, but it's in such great condition. This is as new. This is Roy Orbison. This is called the legendary Roy Orbison, the greatest hits. This is from 1988 on the Telstar label. All the big ones are on here: Pretty Woman, Only the Lonely, Love Hurts, Blue Angel, In Dreams, Crime, Blue Bayou, Dream Baby, Great Pretender, Running Scared, blah 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 blah. Loads and loads and loads. Looking forward to listening to this. Again, on a budget label, the Telstar label, who again knew what they wanted to put out, and they put out good quality stuff at a budget price. Because you know, just because it was budget doesn't mean that it was rubbish. You know, they did try to make the best of the materials that were at hand. Roy Orbison, the legendary Roy Orbison, the greatest hits for £1. Now here's one which will probably get some interest from other vinyl community people. This is OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. This is the Architecture and Morality album. Now I understand that this is an original press. I understand the originals of these were pressed in 3 colours on the cover, but the first one was this yellow one. It has got the die cut inside, because that forms, that's what the inner looks like. This is on a label which I'm not familiar with. This is on the, is it the Din Disc label, 1981. Again in beautiful condition. The only thing here, this has a little scuff just there, you see? I think that's going to play through okay, because I think it's just a surface scratch. Looked on Discogs, and like with a lot of things, you can get yourself into a rabbit hole, can't you? But for £2.50, a nice little original, showing a bit of age with the colouring sort of going a little bit and stuff like that. But and somebody's written the name on it, which is proper annoying, isn't it? Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Architecture and Morality, for £2.50. Here's a legend, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. This is the Stranger in Town album. I think this is possibly the most famous album that he's known for. Some really big records on this. When did this come out? 1978 on the EMI Capitol label. You've got Hollywood Nights is on here. We Got Tonight is on here. It's like, you know, this is a banger of an album, right? And again, it's a nice little original. Got a nice little original inner. Capitol labels, purple labels. Again, ridiculously good condition. Really looking forward to hearing this. The only thing I've got from Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band prior to today is the greatest hits. So really looking forward to this. This was £2.50. Another Bob Seger album. Obviously, these all come from the same person. They must do. I love the artwork on this. This album's called Against the Wind. Look at that artwork. It's beautiful, isn't it? Again, this is a nice little original, and this again is on the Capitol EMI label. Nice little inner showing the Silver Bullet Band and of course Bob Seger with all the lyrics and some of the recording credits and so on. Again on the Capitol, purple Capitol, and again absolute mint condition. Not even any spindle marks or anything like that on the labels. So well looked after, these records, well looked after, and they will be continue to be looked after as well. Bob Seger, Silver Bullet Band, Against the Wind, £2.50, another original press. Next, one of America's greatest singer-songwriters, as we come up to nearly 28 minutes. I won't keep you for much longer. James Taylor. This is the JT album. And I heard this was his first album, not sure. Someone might be able to tell me. Again, this is a nice little original gatefold. Members of the band in the recording studio, and inside the label, it's I think this is on Reprise. No, CBS. On the orange CBS label. Again, ridiculously good condition. JT. I've got a couple of albums by James Taylor. I've got a best of one of his studio albums. Really looking forward to listening to this. I'm not familiar, I don't think, of any of the songs on here. This is from 1977 and this was £2.50. Next, another album that I've already got, but this is in my top 10 favourite albums of all time. Like the Mark Bolan T-Rex 20th Century Boy one, this would be in my 10. And it's the Travelling Wilburys' first album. Now, I've already got this before everybody says, oh, you're really going to like that album, Darren. I've already got it. I love it. I got it on CD, vinyl. I bought this on vinyl when it first came out. 1988, was it, when it first came out, this? It is 1988. This is on the Wilbury label through Warner Brothers, was it, I think? Yeah. I mean, what more do you want? You've got Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison and George Harrison. The Wilburys all together. The second album wasn't as good as this first album. This is an absolute classic, this is. And this is about as good as condition as the one that I've got. Again, a nice little original with the bespoke labels. I know they reissued this album on CD not that long ago, a few years ago, with the second album and a DVD. But here's the original press of it. Nice to have another copy of that from the Travelling Wilburys for £3.50. Next, we're getting to the end of this, folks. Next, here's an album. I've never seen this guy's albums in any second-hand shop or charity shop, because if I had, I'd have bought them. I've got one other album from this guy, Analog Man, which is one of his more recent albums. This is Joe Walsh, but seriously, folks, again, nice little original from 1978 on the Elektra label. Nice gatefold. Great artwork. There's the back. Opens up like that. There's the inner. Tablecloth. And again, on the Elektra label. And again, absolute mint condition. I think this is an original press. This has got, the only song that I know on this album is Life's Been Good. That's the only song that I know on here. There might be some other songs that I sort of recognise, but I'm not that familiar with. Joe Walsh, but seriously, folks, for £2.50. I mean, what you'd expect in a second-hand record shop? You'd expect to pay what, tenner for that? Last but not least, another album that I've got, but this is more of an upgrade, really, because my original's a little bit tatty. This cost me £1, and this is in absolute mint A1 condition. This is Convoy, the original soundtrack album. I think this is on the MCA label. No, I'm lying. It's on the Capitol label. I love Convoy. It's a great film. It's got great music. Again, absolute mint condition. I'm not sure my original Convoy is on the Capitol label. It might be sort of an import or something. I might have to check. But, I mean, the songs on here are just... There's a new version of Convoy by C.W. McCall. Kenny Rogers is on here. Crystal Gale. Merle Haggard, Glenn Campbell, Billy Joe Spears, Doc Watson, Anne Murray. I mean, what more do you want? It's a great film. And, of course, recently we lost Chris Christopherson. I'm surprised he's not on here musically, but he's not. Convoy, the original soundtrack album on the Capitol label, for £1. £1 for that. That's your lot. What an incredible haul of music. What do you think? I'll show you. Look, all that for 40 quid. I think I really dropped on with that. What do you reckon? Let me know if you've got any of these albums, and let me know what you've been buying and stuff like that. And of course, like I said earlier, like, subscribe, hit the bell, that kind of business. And hopefully you'll be swinging by another time for another video. Until that time, look after yourselves, look after each other, and we'll see you here in the studio for another video very, very soon. Ta-da.